After the release of my video on how to make a female four-corner sutana, I got a lot of reactions requesting for more content on celestial garments as a whole. In today's video, I will be showing you how to make a female round neckline sutana, popularly known as sister sutana. I will be starting with the measurements required in drafting a round neckline sutana pattern, how to draft the facing in finishing the neckline, how to plot the dart, cutting and construction of a sister sutana neckline, and also walking you through the process of making the sleeve and the lower parts of the sutana. As at the time I'm recording this video, I have 8 videos on celestial garments already, which has been grouped into 2 categories on my playlist, which are female celestial garment series with 6 videos and male sutana series with 2 videos for now. Make sure you watch those videos after watching this particular one to the end. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't, and also encourage me by liking this video so that YouTube algorithm can like it too and show it to more people like you. My name is Bolaji and this is Reggie School of Fashion. Here is the pattern I drafted in my previous video on how to make a 4-corner neckline sutana, and I copied the pattern on a fresh pattern paper. So that is why we have this pattern drafted already. I did this because our concentration is not going to be on the lower parts of the pattern, but our concentration will be on the upper parts of the pattern. So the difference between the previous video of this pattern and the one we are making now is the neckline. How to construct the neckline, the measurements needed in constructing the neckline. So apart from the neckline, every other process remains the same. So if you don't know how to make a female sutana as a whole, I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to make a female sutana, irrespective of the type of neckline you are applying on it. Starting from the drafting to the cutting to the sewing, how to attach the sleeve, how to attach the zipper, the pocket. It is a full tutorial. The video is in series on a playlist, and the link to the playlist has been linked up in the description box already. So now to today's business, which is a round neckline female sutana, popularly called sister sutana. So now to the neckline. Before you can construct a round neckline for sutana, you have to do this first. This is very essential. You can see the way I folded this pattern. There's no joining on the shoulder. No joining on the shoulder. So I folded the pattern like so. This folded part is the shoulder line. Okay, so this is the front and this is the back. The back and front have to be cut together. Now you can see we do not have a shoulder slope here, and with this we may not know the exact point where the mid shoulder falls. So when you are drafting a round neckline, you have to draft this temporarily on your pattern just for you to have a guide on where the neckline should stop. So for this reason, I will be inserting half of the back measurement. I will have to mention this. This is not the real half of the back measurement. This is with ease. I think I have extra 1.5 inches on this. So which means half of the back measurement I used in drafting this pattern is 8 inches. Half of the back is 8 inches. So which means the whole back measurement is 16 inches. Back measurement is divided by 2 in case you are a beginner. So this is the point. So if you are drafting your normal basic bodice block, also if you don't know how to draft a basic bodice block, I have a master class on how to draft a basic bodice block. It is a free master class. You are not paying at all. It is a well-detailed tutorial whereby you will understand the shoulder line, the shoulder slope, where to stop your drafting of neckline, how you can construct every part of the body. The video has been linked up in the description box as well. So this is half of the back measurement. I'm acting as if I want to create the shoulder slope. Then I'm coming down by 1 inch because the shoulder line must not be on a straight line. But we have to leave this on a straight line because there's no joining. We are not joining the front and back separately. They have to be together. So after this step, I will insert the basic neck width. Basic neck width is 3 inches. That's the point. Then I'll be connecting the 1 inch point to the basic neck width point. With this clue, you'll be able to draft for any figure of female. No matter the size, you will know where to stop your neck width measurement. So you can see what I have now. From this point to this point, this is the shoulder line. All this is for ease, just to ease the armhole area. So I'll be taking the measurements I have from here to here and get the midpoint. I have exact 5 inches and the midpoint is 2.5 inches. So with this, I'll be extending this point upward because this is our real shoulder line. Okay. So once I get this point, all these points are no more in use. I don't need them. It's just a guide. So this is a point. What this is telling us is whatever I will be using as the neck width for this wearer should not exceed this point. This is the mid shoulder. So any measurement that exceeds this point is going to fall as an off shoulder, which means the Sutana will not stay on the shoulder. It will off the shoulder and it will not look nice. So that is the most important thing you have to put at the back of your mind, and you must not skip this step when you are drafting your pattern. Don't be in haste to skip this step. The standard measurement is 4 inches by 4 inches. And as you can see, from this point to this point, I already have 3 inches. So which means I will be adding extra 1 inch. So this is the neck width point. You can see I still have extra spaces here. It is now left to the wearer how much she wants the neckline to be wide. If she said, I want a very wide neckline, you said, okay, but you have to put it at the back of your mind that it shouldn't exceed this point. If the wearer wants a very wide neckline, I can add, see what I have left from this point to this point is 1.5 inches. So I can still add as much as 1 inch to that measurement to make it 5 inches width from this point to this point. So that is 5 inches width. But for standard measurements in making a female round neckline Sutana is 4 inches by 4 inches. I just need to explain this in case the wearer is asking for something different from standard measurement, so that you will know your way around it. That is why I'm explaining all this. So this is 5 inches point and this is 4 inches point, which means for the wearer of this pattern, I can use as much as 5 inches for her, but I will not get to this point. Okay, we have so many points on the line already, so I will be erasing them so that I don't get confused, and I will be maintaining the midpoint alone. Okay, so which means for this measurement I can use 5 inches if the wearer requested for a very wide neckline. If she requested for moderate neckline or average neckline, I don't want it too wide and I don't want it so narrow, I will maintain the standard measurements for a female round neckline Sutana, which is 4 inches point. Then the depth also 4 inches. This cannot be tampered with because it is a round neckline. By the time I will be connecting this, you are going to see what I will be having. That is going to be a very deep neckline. So if you will have to add to this, the neckline will be too loose and wide. So for the width, you don't tamper with this. You cannot add to it, but you can reduce it. You can take it up, subtract ½ inch, make it 3.5 inches, or maintain 3 inches as the depth, because it is a round neckline. This is a little bit different from a square neckline. Assuming it is a square neckline, you can make it as deep as you want, but the width should be narrow. So which means these two necklines are like a reverse case. Round neckline sutana for female can be wide, but it must not be too deep. And for the square neckline, it can be deep, but it must not be too wide. Okay, so I will be maintaining this 4 inches. Then make a straight line. So then on this line, I will insert the same 4 inches, which is the neck width I'm using. If you are using 5 inches, you will insert 5 inches. If you are using 3.5, you can insert 3.5. Okay. Then I will be connecting these 2 points together also to have a square line. So here I have a square line. Then I will get the midpoints of this angle. So I have a triangular shape on my ruler, so it is easier for me to locate the points. Okay. Please do not skip this step, because the beauty of a round neckline is to have a perfect round shape. If the shape is not perfect enough, it will not look nice, most especially if you are finishing the neckline with facing. It's going to give you a tough time to finish. But once the neckline is, if the round is perfect already, with ease you will be able to finish the neckline with facing. So with this process, you will get the round shape perfectly. Okay. Another thing you need to put at the back of your mind is when you are constructing a round neckline, your connection must not start from the center of the pattern. This is the center front, so that you will not have a sharp point at the center of the pattern. So which means from here you have to come in by 1 inch. You can come in by 1 inch or half of an inch. This is just to move the curve away from the center point. Also, here I'll come down by half of an inch. So the next thing is to learn how to use your ruler. This is very important. If you don't know how to use your ruler, you don't know how to position your pattern rulers, I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to use your pattern drafting tools, the essential pattern drafting tools needed and how to use them, what you use them for, when and where you use each of these tools. The link to the video is in the description box already. So watch this video after watching this particular one. You can see the round shape I have on this. This ruler is purposely for armhole, in construction of the arm. Even with the shape, you will know it's for armhole. So, but at the same time, I can use this round part to construct a round shape. With this positioning, I can construct my round neckline and I will still get my desired shape. I'm adjusting this to be a little bit deeper. If I position my ruler like so, I will still get my perfect round shape. Then how do you know the part of the ruler to use? This is determined by how deep you want your neckline to be. If you are avoiding your neckline being too deep, you will have to adjust this as much as possible. And what can you do? Very easy. Come to this point, this angle point, then measure 1 inch, mark the point, measure half of an inch, mark the point, then measure 2 inches and mark the point. You can see I have 3 points on this line already. If I maintain these points in connecting my ruler. This is point 1. This point is point 2. So I need to take out of these 3 points to make it 3 points. Either this, this, or this. So let's assume I want to use the 1-inch point. So which means I will be having 3 points connected together. Point 1, point 2, and point 3. And I'll position my ruler in such a way I'm able to connect these 3 points together. So with this is what I can have for my round neckline. And this is going to be a very deep one. Okay. Can you see the shape? This is a perfect round neckline. If I'm avoiding my round neckline to be too deep, my Sutana round neckline to be too deep, I don't want it to be as deep as this. I will maintain this second point, which is 1.5 inches point. Then I will be concentrating on that point. The curved part of my ruler that will fall on that point will not be as deep as the first one. Can you see what I have? It is not just the matter of connecting points together to make a round neckline. You have to understand all this. This will help you to have your desired results. It is not what you get from your pattern. It should be exactly what you want. You'll get that. Do you understand? So please, if you are getting value in this tutorial, like this video and drop your comments at the comment section so that I will be encouraged and know you guys are really enjoying what I'm offering you. Okay, so this is another round neckline, and let's go to the third one. If I want to make use of the third point, which is a 2 inches point, I will be connecting like so. You can see the positioning of my ruler is like it has moved away from the curve line totally. Can you see the shape? This is no more giving me a round neckline. This is giving me a canoe neck, a slightly curved line. It is not a round neckline. So these 2 inches points will not work. You can decide to take your point to be in between 1.5 and 2 inches points around here. So apart from the neck width and the neck depth, the center point also determines how deep your round neckline will be on a female Sutana. You get? Okay. So can you see what I have? So this is just a slight curve. This will not work for a female Sutana, female round neckline Sutana. It can work on other styles you are making, but for female Sutana, it will not work. So we are not making use of this. These two, you can pick any of these two to make your female round neckline Sutana. So that is that about the neckline. So which is the most important part of this tutorial, showing you how to construct a round neckline. I'll go ahead and cut out this pattern. So here is the pattern. I've cut out the pattern. So the next step is to construct facing and finishing the neckline. So I have my pattern folded already. I folded this pattern the same way I folded the pattern for bodies, like so. No joining on the shoulder line. Okay, then I will place my pattern like so, making sure the shoulder line aligns and the center. Now I have my bodies and the pattern paper aligned together properly, as you can see. So the next step is to trace the neckline on the fresh pattern paper. As you can see, I have my seam allowance added on the pattern. So don't forget adding your seam allowance. So I'll be tracing this out carefully. Okay, I can remove the bodice pattern now. Okay, so the next step is to insert the width of the facing. That is how wide I want the facing to be. The standard measurement for female round neckline Sutana facing is 3 inches. This is 3 inches wideness. You can see how wide 3 inches is. So with 3 inches, you are good. No matter how wide you want the facing to be, 3 inches is okay. Just consider you are making a sutana and not an outing garment. So this has to cover up parts of the shoulder. That is, the facing has to cover up parts of the shoulder. So that is why I will be maintaining 3 inches. So after this 3 inches point, I need extra half of an inch to attach this to the neckline on the bodies, and also half of an inch to finish the edges of the facing. So which means I will be adding extra 1 inch to 3 inches, and I will have 4 inches in total. So I will continue taking the 4 inches around the shape of the neckline. Make sure the points are not too far from each other so that you don't lose the shape of your round neckline. So now I'm connecting the points together using my free hand first before blending it up with my curve ruler. Okay, so I can now blend it up with my curve ruler. So here is a pattern for round neckline facing. Then I will proceed in cutting it out. Here is what I have after cutting out the facing. This is the shoulder line. This is the shoulder, and this is the center front. Now I will be cutting this out on my fabric so that I will show you guys how you can finish the neckline using the facing. So now I folded my fabric. As you can see, I folded the fabric into 4. I folded into 2 first, just the way I folded my pattern, like so. And because this side is the center, I have to fold over the second time. So with this, I have the front and the back together. So this is the shoulder line and this is the shoulder line on my pattern. So I'll be placing these two together, making sure they both align. You can see this is the center and it falls on the folded side of the fabric. Please, if you know you are getting value from this video, kindly like this video and drop your comments at the comment section. So now I'll be cutting out the fabric. So now it's cut out. Now it's time to cut out the facing, and I folded the fabric the same way I folded when I was cutting out the bodies. So guys, I've cut out the bodies and the facing, and this is what I have. This is the bodies and this is the facing. So the next step is to finish the neckline using the facing, which I will be showing you how to go about it. But before separating my pattern from my fabric, I will have to notch the center. So I'll be notching the center of the neckline. And I'll also notch the center of the shoulder. That's the edges of the shoulder. So with this, I can easily locate that point. Okay, so can you see the notches? Notching means cutting a little. Also the lower part. So for the purpose of joining the upper part together with the lower part. Then on the facing as well, I will be placing notches on the center of the neckline. So this is the shoulder and this is the center. And also the lower part of the facing, I'm placing my notches. So this is very important. It will help you to attach the facing easily and correctly. Okay, so with this I can go ahead and remove my pattern. So now it's time to join the two together, which means I will be finishing the round neckline using the facing. So I'll open this up like so. Then I will mark my allowance all around. I can either mark on the bodies or mark on the facing. Then I will place this as well. Please, you have to put it in mind that the facing is coming to the right side of the sutana, not on the wrong side. So, and because of this, this is the wrong side. Okay. Okay, so this is the right side and this is the wrong side. And I will chalk this part. So I've chalked the wrong side so that I can easily identify the wrong side. So this is the facing, and the facing is going to the right side of the sutana. So that is why I will be placing the right side of the facing on the wrong side of the bodies. Right side facing the wrong side. This is the wrong side of the facing. And this is the wrong side of the sutana bodies. The right side of the facing is facing the wrong side of the bodies. Just take your time to digest this. It is not that much serious. And you can see what my notches can do for me. I have the notches on the shoulder line of the bodies and the facing. So I will just align the notches on each other like so and pin together. The center as well. Can you see what I have? Then the center of the lower part. So, and the center of the other side. So that is why it is very important for you to place your notches. Okay, so this is what I have. Then I will mark my seam allowance all around, which is 1/2 inch. After marking my seam allowance, then I will take this to my sewing machine and stitch all around, and I will be back to show you the results. So guys, I've joined the facing and the bodies together, as you can see. So this is what I have after joining. Then I top stitch on the bodies. Here is the top stitching. The top stitching will stabilize the seam allowance inside the sutana. So with this, I will be able to turn this easily to the right side. So can you see what I'm doing? So I've turned the facing to the right side of the bodice, like so. So initially it was like this, the right side facing the wrong side. It was like this when I was joining. So this is the way I joined. This is the right side of the facing, and this is the wrong side of the sutana. So after joining, then I open up the seam like so. The seam allowance was relaxing on the bodies, and I top stitch on the bodies. Please take note of this so that seam will not be showing on the neckline on the right side of the sutana. So the seam will be on the wrong side, so I top stitch on the bodies all round. Then I will be turning this to the right side. So this is coming to the right side like so. So after top stitching, then I will be notching the seam allowance. After notching, I will give it a good press and turn it to the right side. Notching means cutting a little. In case you are a beginner, you don't know this. You cut a little and you don't cut to the same point. So guys, after notching and ironing, this is what I have. Can you see the facing is laying flat and neatly on the bodies? Okay, so this is the shoulder line. I ironed it out. Here is the center. The center, you can see the notches I have on the center of the bodies and that of the facing aligns together. You can see them. So the next step is to finish the edges of the facing. So that was why I added 1/2 inch of seam allowance. So I will be marking out my seam allowance of 1/2 inch all round. Then I will fold this inward and give it a good press. The pressing is what will stabilize the facing, and it will help the seam to lay flat on the facing. Okay, so I will be marking my 1/2 inch all round. So I will mark 1/2 inch all round. Then after marking the 1/2 inch, then I will secure the shoulder lines together with my sewing pin so that it doesn't get shifted. Okay. So I will add my seam allowance all round. Then I will fold this in. You can see how wide 3 inches is. This is the wideness of 3 inches facing on a female sutana. So if you don't want just to be as wide as this, just reduce it to 2.5 inches or 2 inches. But the max you can use is this standard measurement of 3 inches. You can reduce it. Okay, so I will continue folding it inward. As I'm folding, I will be pressing it down with my pressing iron. Okay, and I will have something like this all around the neckline. Then I will run an edge stitch. An edge stitch means stitching on the edges of a fabric. So the stitches must fall on the edges. By the time I finish stitching, I must not be able to raise the edges up. If you can raise it up with your finger or with a sharp object, it means the seam is not close enough. Okay, so you have to make it close as much as possible. Can you see the edges I'm pointing to? So which means you have to take your time and be patient enough when applying an edge stitch. So that is what I'll be doing right now on my sewing machine, and I'll be back to show you the final result of a beautiful round neck female sutana. So guys, here is a final look of our sister Sutana. You can see the round neck is looking beautiful and the facing is looking nice as well. So here is the edge stitch. I edge stitch all around in order to position the facing on the Sutana. And you can see it's looking beautiful and it's looking nice. Okay, so this is the shoulder line. This is the shoulder line, the front and the back. After this step, the next step is to pick the dart. You can either pick the dart before finishing the neckline or finish the neckline before picking the darts. Either of the two can come first, but I prefer picking the darts before finishing the neckline. And in order not to make this video unnecessarily long, I already made a provision on how to make this a complete garment. I mean celestial garment, popularly known as Sutana. How to pick the dart, how to attach the lower part, which is the skirt, how to pleat the skirt, the measurements and the amount of fabric needed in making the skirt part of the Sutana, how to make the sleeve, how to attach the pocket, the zipper, and every other thing that make a complete celestial garment. These videos are on a playlist which has been linked up in the description box. You can go ahead and watch those videos in order to make this a complete celestial garment. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. If you have gotten value in this tutorial and you are here to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and smash the subscribe button now so that you will receive regular notifications anytime I release a new video. Let's meet in my next video where I will be dishing out another valuable content from my wealth of knowledge. Till then, always do remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.